Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening on a Monday. Holy cow, can you believe? Weekend is done already?
No.
We're cruising through. Today's the 15th of June. We're halfway done with the month. I don't know what happened there. Hey, even though local hunters claim they've never done such a thing, a new law in Vienna bans anglers from casting their lines out of moving airplanes or other vehicles. It's now against the law to hunt deer by blowing them up with explosives as well.
Oh my gosh.
So apparently...
Is that an issue?
No, the hunter said, we've never done this anyway. Why are you making this illegal? So we could have maybe saved that for our stupid law, but we got a good stupid law too. We talk about that later in the program. But yeah, they now it is illegal to hunt deer and other vehicles.
That's good to know. That's really good to know.
Deer and out of airplanes and other vehicles, or to blow them up with explosives. So
we know somebody who has been known to hunt out of windows.
We do?
Yes.
Okay, well, we'll have to find out who that is off the air. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about a driver from a heating oil company and an interesting story that it's on the way. We'll just chat about it. How's that sound?
Oh, it sounds good. This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com.
If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. So what do you have to lose? And if you're buying an RV, you got to find the great deals at RVWheelator.com.
Now back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Thank you so much for listening on a Monday. In New York, a driver for a heating oil company read the bill wrong and accidentally pumped 50 gallons of oil into a basement.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
They switched to natural gas 35 years ago. The company offered to clean up the mess free of charge.
Well, I would sure hope so.
So yeah, he read the bill wrong and he pulled up to the wrong house and stuck in the little thing and started pumping oil. No tank inside to catch it, so... Yeah,
oh, my
50
gosh.
gallons of oil all over the floor. And they haven't had this for 35 years. You'd think they would get rid of the place to even put it. So why would you still have a spot to pour the oil?
Well, why would they have had a bill anyway? I mean, why would
he read the wrong address. He was at the wrong place.
Okay.
How many stories in the last couple of weeks have we had where they had the wrong address?
Major accidents. Yeah.
Blew up a house in one, tore down a house in another one, and now...
Bad deal.
50 gallons of heating oil on the floor. All right.
Yikes.
Going to talk about a legal battle over the name Lego. It's on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Apparently, the United States is not the only place where people name their kids whatever they feel like naming them these days. A legal battle in Sweden. The couple finally won the right to name their son Lego. Yeah.
You know, okay, so as far as bad names go, that's not one of the worst.
It's not terrible, but would you want to be named Lego?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you could get used to that. That I think you could get used to. Some of them are really bad.
Well, you want to hear a list of some?
Sure.
Other legal battles that have been in the news in Sweden were IKEA, Veranda, Metallica, and Elvis. And that was for a little girl. They named their little girl Elvis.
Well,
the Swedish Administrative Court of Appeals has now overruled an earlier decision to stop a couple from naming their child Lego after the brightly colored plastic building blocks. For a moment there, I was thinking of Egos. So
you've done that several times.
Lego
whenever
my
we
ego.
Start talking about...
It's because the commercial, it was always Lego my ego. And then I got Legos, for whatever reason, stuck to breakfast food now. So, yeah. So, no, it wasn't. They didn't want to name the kid Ego. They wanted to name the kid Lego. So, after the building blocks, not after the waffle.
I don't know. That one is not so bad as far as I'm concerned.
I think a lot of it's going to really depend on what the last name is.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it, I think I've heard so many bad names lately
I know.
that sometimes some of the really ridiculous ones just don't seem so bad.
And I do want to say, and I will not use any names, I'll keep the anonymity.
What's that? What's that?
I'm going to leave the names out of it, but I want to say, I got a list of some actual names of people that are in a room all day long with a person that listens to this program. When we were talking about weird names last week,
yes.
and there's some weird names in
yes.
this person's room. I'm not even going to say any more than that, other than
no, we can't even say the names.
I'm not going to say the names.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say even what this person does for a living.
We had another listener call with a really weird name too. It's like, wow.
So apparently,
come on,
it's
people,
going
be
around.
Nice to your children.
We appreciate it. Coming up, we've got This Is Your Brain on Drugs on the way.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help. Go to KeystoneTreatment.com.
You can also call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-800-992-1921.
And this is your brain on drugs. Police in Dunn, North Carolina, were chasing a car thief and were surprised when he put both hands up. He didn't stop, though. He began driving slowly with his knees on the wheel. Turned out he realized he was going to get caught, so he was trying to extend the chase a little bit longer.
Without getting shot.
So he could light up his pipe and finish smoking the crack.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, he finally pulled into a parking lot, even tried to finish smoking the crack even after they stopped him. He's like, hey, let me at least finish it, come on. You already got me.
Good luck with that.
Let me finish it. And you're like,
good luck with that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Not happening.
It's not quite how it works. So there you go. This is your brain on drugs. Kids, I don't know if I ever told you this before.
Don't do drugs.
I think I tell you this almost every day, but don't do drugs. It doesn't typically end well. Usually
it never
doesn't
ends
lead
well.
to something good. I'm just saying, it just doesn't lead to something good. So stay in school and don't do drugs. We've got your moment of duh coming your way in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVWheelator.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Sometimes, the moment of duh doesn't necessarily have to be a human. It could even be an animal. In this case, it was a snake. Jonah Castle, a 74-year-old farmer in West Virginia, found a snake next to his hen house with a giant bulge in its belly, and he was dead. So he was wondering, what in the world happened to this snake? So he took out a knife and made a little incision. Guess what he found inside?
What?
Next to the hen house, you might think an egg, right? Well, no, it was a golf ball. So the reason there was a golf ball by a hen house, I guess Mr. Castle encourages his chickens to lay eggs by putting white golf balls in the hen house. And they see those, and they lay more eggs somehow. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what he says. For some reason, the snake thought the golf ball might be an egg, and he ate it, and it didn't end so well for him. So he accidentally ate the golf ball.
All right, two things.
Yeah.
One, why would that be your first instinct? You see a dead snake, and you're like, I'm going to cut this sucker open and see what's
there's
inside.
a bulge. He's a guy. It wasn't. What's going on in there?
That's disgusting.
What was the second thing?
Second thing, if it was an egg, was he cutting it open to try to get that egg back out so he could still sell it?
Probably.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. So now, imagine.
So now, next time you crack an egg open, you have to wonder: did some farmer cut this out of a snake and put it on the market?
Probably. I don't think that's. I have no idea. All I know is it's a Monday, and your scoop of the day is on the way.
The John and Heidi Show podcast is brought to you by DirecTV.
They have big-time savings going on right now, so you can sign up and save. Get all the details at 1-800-259-7646.
Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com.
Quite possibly the best way to buy an RV or to sell an RV. They're like a realtor for your RV. Check out RVWheelator.com.
And the Dollar Shave Club.
Get amazing razors for $1 a month, and for a few bucks more, they'll bring them right to your door.
Sign up today at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Now, your scoop of the day. Tinder users are fibbers. Tinder is a dating site. I had to look it up because I'm not dating people these days. The two of us are married. It's not that they're lying, but they're kind of leaving some stuff out of their demographics. A large chunk of them are not being exactly forthright with their intentions. Research found 42% of Tinder users are already in a relationship. Whoa.
So why have a thing if you're in a relationship?
Many of them are men.
In case there's somebody better out there?
Apparently, they're still looking. Secret Service evacuated the White House last week, the briefing room, for about 30 minutes last Tuesday because of a bomb threat phoned in to the Washington police. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
If you're about to head out the door for a neighborhood barbecue, and of course, you men will be wearing a pair of fashionable, cool, comfy sandals, right? Well, maybe you shouldn't. 58% of women say sandals are not looking good on guys because our toes are long and hairy and have long toenails. So women have beautiful toes.
You can do something about the toenails.
Yeah, who's going to do that? You have to bend all the way down there. And, Let's put on some shoes. Now, that's fast. According to scientists, they provided a sneak peek at what's being called the world's fastest supercomputer. It costs $100 million, so they're probably not going to sell a lot of these, but it can perform 1,000 trillion calculations per second. See?
Yeah, who needs that?
Talk about multitasking.
I do not need that.
Quick line here. Due to a California drought, Governor Jerry Brown has cut back on bathing.
Okay.
Nothing more to say about that.
Good to know.
Most Americans think they can swim just fine, but a recent survey found that 44% don't know the basic water safety skills. 56% of Americans can perform the 5 core swimming skills. A recent survey conducted on behalf of the American Red Cross said the steps known as water competency include jumping or stepping into water over your head and returning to the surface to tread water or float for a minute, circling around and identifying an exit, swimming 25 yards to that point, and then exiting the water. Can you do all that stuff?
Yeah.
I can do that, so we don't fall in that. I remember when I was a kid, we learned how to swim the hard way. It was, we're going to throw you in the water, and you're going to learn how to swim.
Yeah. If you sink, I'll come get you. But
I only wish I was kidding, but that's exactly how we learned how to swim.
I took swimming lessons every year for, oh my gosh.
I took swimming lessons,
until
too.
I was maybe 13.
My swimming
12?
lessons were a lot different, though. They threw us out of the back of a boat. That was our swimming lesson. All right. Hey, here's your end of the world update. The director of the National Intelligence Agency released a report called the Global Trends 2030, Alternative Worlds. Looks at the world of our future. It's not pretty. The U.S. is no longer the unquestionable dominant global player in this report. Individual and small groups may carry out devastating cyber and bioterror attacks in this report, and food and water may be running short in 2030, according to this report. So stock up now. And we have, you know what? I've got plenty of time here. I've got a strange law that I'm going to get to here in a second, but since I have time, I'm actually going to squeeze in another story that I have over here. Lance Schaefer, he was wanted by the cops on a parole violation, and he was minding his own business when he was assaulted and robbed at a local Holiday Inn. He called the cops and gave a complete report, except for one minor detail. Since he was on the run, he didn't want, to be identified, so he claimed to be his brother Luke. He had a story down, too. Even when his brother's Social Security number, he had that memorized, cops would have never known the wiser. When Lance called the station to see how the investigation was going, he said, "Hi, this is Lance. I mean Luke."
Oh, wow.
Then they check to see and find out, who's Lance? Oh, he's wanted.
I see.
Yeah, that wasn't very smart, Lance. All right, your strange law. In Oregon, it is illegal for you to do anything other than drip dry your dishes. So you can't wipe them down with a towel. It's illegal to do anything other than that. In Oregon, dishes must drip dry. Apparently somebody had dish duty and said, you know what, I'm going to make a law so I don't have to do this no more.
But what about a dishwasher?
Don't they drip dry in a dishwasher?
No, there's a drying cycle.
Is there really?
Yeah, unless you're not allowed to use maybe you're not allowed to use the drying cycle.
I don't know. If you just leave them alone, don't they dry on their own? I don't know.
Yeah,
Moving on. Thank you so much for tuning in on a Friday. We've got a special guest coming up in just a bit. We'll be chatting with Bill Henderson, co-author of Cancer Free, Your Guide to Gentle, Non-Toxic Healing. That interview is on the way.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by Rough Tough Kennels.
If you have a puppy or a big dog, Rough Tough Kennels has something that's just right for you. They have kennels that are strong enough that I can stand on top of them, but they're cozy enough for your furry little best friend. Learn more and see the different sizes available at roughtoughkennels.com.
That's RUFF, toughkennels.com.
Thank you so much for listening on a Monday. Special guest on the program today, we've got Bill Henderson. He is a health and wellness reporter and an author of several books on alternative cancer therapies, including Cure Your Cancer and his most recent book, Cancer Free, Your Guide to Gentle, Non-Toxic Healing. And he co-authored this with Dr. Carlos Garcia. And Bill is our guest this morning. Bill, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, just fine, John. Feeling good this morning.
Very good. Now, this is an interesting book, The Dental Toxins. I didn't realize this is something that, unless you know about it, you just don't know about it. So tell us a little bit about the background and why you and the other co-author, Dr. Garcia, decided to put this book out.
It's a big surprise to most people, when I coach people every day about their cancer, and Dr. Garcia, my co-author, he treats people in a cancer clinic in Oldsmar, Florida, and we both have learned in our research that dental toxins are the primary cause of cancer. and his patients get sent to a local dentist there in Tampa, in Florida, to get their jaw cleaned up before they get the cancer treatment at his cancer clinic. I urge the people I talk to every day to go to a competent dentist and get their jaw cleaned up. The belief of this, of course, is easier if people understand that it's not just us, it's not just a theory we came up with. It started quite a long time ago, but cancer doctors are completely ignorant about it. The knowledge of it, traces, among other things, to a cancer clinic in Switzerland, the most famous cancer clinic in Europe, called the Paracelsus Clinic. It was established back in the 1950s, I guess. But about 25 years ago, they added a dental intake section because they realized what we know and what we're trying to publicize to people now, that dental issues were the primary reason people were getting cancer. And they have to go to that cancer clinic, they have to go through a dental intake section and get their jaw and their teeth cleaned up of inflammation. Root canal filled teeth have to be removed. Cavitation sites where they've had wisdom teeth or other teeth removed and their jawbone is infected, it has to be surgically cleaned up. Mercury amalgam fillings have to be replaced, and so on. This is all done before any cancer treatment is done at that clinic. The gentleman that runs the clinic is Dr. Thomas Rao, who is a Canadian doctor, and he got curious back in 2004, and he published this in a newsletter. He went and looked at the last 150 records of women who had been to that clinic for breast cancer treatment. Found that 147 of those 150 women had root canal filled teeth directly over the breast tumor.
Wow.
The other three had other dental toxin problems. That's just one example.
Again, on the phone this morning with Bill Henderson, co-author of Cancer Free, Your Guide to Gentle, Non-Toxic Healing. I'm looking here at the list. It says there's a 7-part cancer healing program, and it's got immune system stimulation, bio-oxygenation of cells with cottage cheese and flaxseed oil. That's kind of interesting. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, it's been around since the late 1950s. Actually, it was discovered by a scientist in Germany named Dr. Joanna Budwig. It's called the Budwig Protocol. She developed a whole group of eating habits. But one of the main ones, and the one we recommend, which has stuck around since then, with a lot of research done on it, is a mixture of cottage cheese and flaxseed oil, which she found chemically and literally because of all of her help with cancer patients in Europe. She was nominated 7 times for the Nobel Prize.
Nice. Also on the list of the 7 things, it says stop cancer spread by strengthening cell walls, raise the body's alkalinity and enzyme count, cancer-fighting diet, avoid the 4 no-nos. What are the 4 no-nos that we should avoid?
Yeah, okay, real briefly, it's sugar, processed food, dairy products, and gluten. Gluten is in bread, cereal, pasta, and turns into glucose, which is what feeds the cancer cells almost immediately. So you want to avoid that. We get questions all the time. You don't recommend people eat dairy, and you recommend they eat cottage cheese. It sounds silly. Cottage cheese, when mixed with flaxseed oil, loses all of its dairy properties. There's no casein, no lactose, and so on in that mixture. The oil becomes water-soluble, and that's why it's so magically effective at helping our cells. But it's consistent. In other words, a cottage cheese is a dairy product, but it's not when it's mixed correctly.
All right. And the last 2 things on the list here of those 7 things, number 6 said vitamin and mineral supplements, and then last one was vitamin D3. Now, where do you get vitamin D3?
Well, it's easy. You can buy it at any health food store. It comes in a little gel cap, generally. Online, you can buy 100 of them for about $4.50, something like that. Very inexpensive, but what it does is replace the lack of sunshine that most of us, we don't get sunshine every day. In order to keep your body vitamin D level at a healthy level, you'd have to be in the sun with most of your clothes off about 20 or 30 minutes every single day. Well, how many of us do that?
That does sound like fun, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, right on. Be great if we could.
Now, Bill, where can we find a copy of this book and maybe learn a little more?
One of the easier ways is the website, where this book is available. It's called Beating, B-E-A-T-I-N-G, and then a hyphen, cancer, another hyphen, gently, GENTLY.com, beatingcancergently.com. You have to put hyphens between the words or you get some screwy website. The book is available. Lots of free information is available at that website about cancer and how people get over it. Hundreds of accounts of people healing themselves of cancer.
And again, our guest this morning has been Bill Henderson, again, the author of Cancer Free, Your Guide to Gentle, Non-Toxic Healing, available online and in several bookstores as well. So if you're looking for some information on that, I bet you'll be able to find it. Thank you so much for joining us on a Monday. It's the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Today's a very special day, Heidi. You know what today is?
What is today, John?
Well, today is Monday. It's the 15th day of June. We're halfway through the month. Today's Global Wind Day, Magna Carta Day, Native American Citizenship Day, Nature Photography Day, National Day of Prayer for Law Enforcement Officers. Today is also Ride to Work Day on a motorcycle. It's also World Elder Abuse Awareness Day and Worldwide Day of Giving. None of those are really happy, warm, fuzzy things that you really want to just go out and celebrate. But the one that I will celebrate, National Day of Prayer for Law Enforcement Officers. I'm going to pray for law enforcement officers today.
I do every day.
And I tell you what, they work their tails off, and I don't think they get the appreciation they deserve. So if you are a law enforcement officer, hats off to you. Thank you so much for putting your neck on the line for people who, quite frankly, most of the time are not grateful.
Right.
So thank you again for all that you do. Whether you're a law enforcement officer, if you're in the military, if you're a fireman, all those categories are just wonderful, wonderful people. So thank you for doing what you do.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVWheelator.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Scientists say methane gas is destroying our planet, but now they have a vaccine, Heidi.
Are you kidding?
Scientists in New Zealand, which is just south of Old Zealand, I believe, they claim to have developed a vaccination to reduce methane emissions from gas passing and belching sheep and cows. Phil Goff, New Zealand's trade minister, said, "Our agriculture research organization was able to map the genome that causes methane in ruminant animals. We believe we can vaccinate against flatulent emissions."
How is that even possible?
Just keep listening. Sheep, cattle, goats, and deer produce a large quantity of gas through belching and flatulence as their multiple stomachs digest grass. The 45 million sheep and the 10 million cattle in New Zealand burped and passed gas, accumulating about 90% of that country's methane emissions, according to government figures. And meanwhile, back here in the United States, about 90% of our emissions in the methane department all came from Charlie. So that's my father-in-law. He's the guy that you hear on Tuesdays with Charlie, and he's known to toot a time or two. But this is an interesting thing. So they've got a vaccine. Don't they have something like that already here called Beano? Isn't that what that is?
It's not a vaccine.
Oh,
it's
but
a pill.
it's the same kind of thing, though. Couldn't they just feed the cows Beano?
I don't know. I
don't
think
know
it's a bad
either.
idea all the way around.
They're going to give a shot to all of these animals so they no longer toot, and I think that'll be interesting to see how that works. I wonder if humans could get that then in the future. Going to get your flu shot, and then you get your toot shot, too.
Not doing either.
Flu shot? I want that other one, too. So,
Gosh.
we have to come up with a good name for it. Do the marketing for that. All right. Why is it that I'm laughing and you're not? Is
Because
this a guy thing?
It's a guy thing.
All right.
I don't find fart humor funny, I guess.
I never said that word. I said flatulence. All right. Coming up, we're going to talk about shiny lip glosses and why you should steer clear. That's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Ladies, for those of you who wear shiny lip gloss, I guess it could be men as well. Anybody that's wearing shiny lip gloss, some dermatologists say that could actually increase your risk of developing skin cancer because the slick, shiny nature of the gloss could allow more of the sun's rays to penetrate directly through the skin instead of getting reflected.
You would think the shiny lip gloss would reflect it away if it's shiny.
Must be. It does the exact opposite. If it would become cancerous and left untreated, it could actually cause disfigurement.
Yikes.
And in rare cases, could spread to other organs and become deadly. So steer clear of the shiny lip glosses. And if you have questions on that, talk to a dermatologist and ask them, because they're the ones that are doing the studies on this, not us radio folk. I don't know much about it. I just read what I barely can even read here. So I do not. This is the reason right here why I don't wear shiny lip gloss.
This is why?
This and many other reasons. But this is one more reason. All right. Going to talk about grilling coming up.
This portion of the program is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club.
You can get razors every month for just $1. And for $2 more, they'll bring them right to your door. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more.
That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
If you're going to be grilling this summer, you might want to check into this. The Food Network Kitchen has a list of their 5 grilling mishaps. These are things that people do wrong. And if you get these things right, you're going to have a better grilling experience. So that's a good idea, isn't it?
That's a great idea.
Great idea. So 5 grilling mishaps and how to avoid them. Topics include getting your grill lit, avoid stuck-on food, uneven cooking. Remember that grill we had?
Oh, my
Our
gosh.
burner was broken.
Every one of them was broken except for one.
Had one giant
flame. You
flame.
had to rotate hamburgers.
You're going to go out and move the burgers again. You were out there a minute ago. I'm like, yeah, I got to. It's a process. Also, stopping flare-ups. You can get all the tips for your perfect summer grilling from the Food Network Kitchen. So
I saw online that you can cut if you cut a potato in half and rub your grates with it, that your food won't stick.
That's cool. And I've seen where you like the spray stuff. You can spray it. So if you want to know more, check it out and get all the details. I know it's grilling season for many. Stick around. We got much, much more on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1 plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
How much peace and quiet do you get during your waking hours? Well, if you're like most people, not a whole lot. The internet, television, smartphones, iPods, iPhones, whatever. We're busy with media, noise, and there's no time left for peace and quiet. I like that they didn't put radio on this list because there's nothing wrong with that. According to a study from media researchers at Britain's MLab, the average person only gets 63 minutes of peace and quiet every day. That's on a good day. 1 in 3 adults don't even get an hour of rest from media noise. While they're at home, about 22% get 30 minutes or less. 1/3 of us wake up to the sound of TV or radio. 71% of us listen to TV or radio while we're going to sleep as well, whether it's on your computer or on a radio. And the typical adult consumes more than 50 hours of media every single week.
Yikes.
So we get a lot of that.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so...
How many times have you come home and it just drives you crazy? You walk in and I have nothing on.
It's nuts.
Like nothing.
I don't think you're home. I come walking in, I'm like, do, and you're sitting on the sofa. I'm like, what are you doing here?
Nothing.
Like, I'm just sitting here. You don't have the TV on. You don't have the radio on. You have nothing.
You don't have your phone. You're not on
silent.
the internet.
You're just sitting there staring at the wall, contemplating the bad decisions you've made in life. How did I end up with this idiot? What in the world? Where did I go wrong?
I do that all the time. I love just quiet. I love it.
Well, she's drinking straight out of a bottle of whiskey. It's not quite that. No, I can't do it. I need noise. When I'm driving down the road,
I love it.
I've got the radio on.
I like quiet.
In my office, right here, this radio, I'll turn that thing up as soon as we're done.
A lot of times
talking.
if I'm in the car, the radio will be off and the windows are down and I'm just driving.
Yeah, not me.
Enjoying the
Well,
sounds.
thank goodness people that are listening to us right now happen to like radio. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for listening. Coming up, we've got an Illinois couple and their 100th grandchild. That's on the way.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by Rough Tough Kennels.
If you have a puppy or a big dog, Rough Tough Kennels has something that's just right for you. They have kennels that are strong enough that I can stand on top of them, but they're cozy enough for your furry little best friend. Learn more and see the different sizes available at roughtoughkennels.com.
That's RUFF, toughkennels.com.
We have 2 kids.
We do.
We have no grandchildren yet because our kids are both fairly young. But there's an Illinois couple this year. They welcomed their 100th grandchild.
Wow.
ABC News says that Leo and Ruth Zanger of Quincy, Illinois, have 53 grandchildren. Let me see here. 53 grandchildren, 46 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild.
Wow.
The Zangers have been married 59 years. They have 12 children of their own, so they started out with a pretty good group.
They started out with a big
The
number.
youngest is 31-year-old Joe. He already was an uncle 10 times when he was born. So when he was born, he was already Uncle Joe to 10 people. Most of the family lives in the Quincy area. When they get together, they have to rent a church hall. It takes 50 pounds of ham or 10 turkeys to feed everybody. So there's a whole crew. But they just recently welcomed their 100th grandchild.
That's cool.
So, and it's not all grandchildren, because there's grandchildren,
great-grandchildren, and a great-great.
Now, a great-great-grandchild. That's really cool.
That is
very,
cool.
very neat. Thank you so much for tuning in on a Monday. Can you believe that we're halfway through the month of June?
No.
This month is cruising by. It's the 15th today. And I got a story over here. There's a French technology company. They created a device called the Persuasive Mirror. It shows what you would look like in the future if you continue your current diet and exercise habits. When I looked into this mirror, it showed a tombstone.
I was going to say.
No, it didn't really. But the Persuasive Mirror, it's designed to help you. If you want to lose weight, you're supposed to put in your calculations of what you do, and it looks at you and says, okay, this is what you're going to look like if you keep doing what you're doing. Huh. And then if you change your exercise regimen and all that, and you punch in that new info, it would show, hey,
it'll show supermodel.
Yeah, like,
you look
wow,
amazing.
Is that Clark Kent?
I'm going to start doing this tomorrow.
No, it's not. It's
maybe
Superman.
Next Monday.
Sadly, that's kind of the way we do things around here. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening. Got a fun little bonus break for those of you who listen to the podcast at Sprecher.com. And we appreciate you listening to The John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And the bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. They love to give you a little bonus. If you want to know all about it, go to dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Daryl Warner held up a bank and he got away with a bag of cash. Sadly, the bag contained one of those explosive dye packs, too. It blew up and stained all the money red. Not willing to give up easily, he took the money home and soaked it in a big tub of bleach. Tried to pass one of the wet, smelly, bleached-out bills when he paid for cab fare. The suspicious cabbie called the cops and gave directions right to where he dropped him off. He was arrested.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you don't do that. And not all criminals, geniuses, live in our country. This guy's from Australia. He would have been better off if he just quit smoking. But he walked into a supermarket to buy some smokes and discovered he was $1 short. So he walked next door to a video store, brandishing a broken bottle, and said, I want $1.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Then he walked back next door and paid for his cigarettes. Didn't think the video clerk would, turn him into the cops.
He must have really needed that cigarette.
$1 that he stole. He was wrong. He was arrested and is enjoying his cigarette now while locked up. So, did you have a joke for us today?
No.
All right, that's going to do it for the program. Thank you for listening. It's a Monday edition of the John and Heidi Show. This bonus break brought to you by dollarshaveclub.com/radio.